Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video here on Marvel Strike Force. Now, I do want to kind of address some of the drama, I guess, that's been in the game since yesterday, because a lot of people have been asking me for my take on it. So I do want to kind of talk about this a little bit. What am I talking about? Well, it's to do with Super Skrull here. You might have remembered from a couple of days ago that I did a data mine talking about the Skrull Diamond heist, and then lo and behold, they put out a blog post related to that, and then now we have the event which went live yesterday. That being said, there's some people out there that are unhappy with how this went out, I guess, and the fact that a lot of people got a 1 diamond Super Skrull for free, including my alt account. So sorry, there's a lot of people who benefited from this, and there's a lot of people who are perhaps a little bit understandably frustrated, I suppose, with the fact that they don't get anything in return if you purchase this 7 red or a diamond of any kind over lately, right. And so the people who especially, I think, purchased it probably more recently are the ones that are frustrated the most, who didn't get a lot of value out of it before it became free. And I want to talk about all that in this video, so if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. All right, so let's talk about the Skrull Diamond Heist and why this is even a thing. So it was a 21-day mile, or was a 21-day milestone. And as you can see here, there's a lot of good things in here. And the funny thing is that all you need, some people thought it was a bug actually, but no, all you actually have to do to clear this is use Super Skrull 1 time at 7 yellow. Now this could be in a blitz, this could be in an arena, it could be in whatever game mode that you want. You just need to use them 1 time. And honestly, I was pretty blown back by this too, because there's this unlimited section down here. Earn 1 Skrull Diamond Heist miles. Like I guess that's from Dark Dimension 6. I didn't even look. Maybe we'll take a look at that. Maybe that's why it's there. I was like, why is that point? Why is this the way it is? Right? I don't know. Maybe you get this for clearing DD6, and then I guess if, for those who have already cleared it, you can just do this. I guess why it's there. There's a lot of good 1 diamond characters in here now. Even for my alt account, like the vast majority of this were dupes, because they're characters that I use on a daily basis, who I had already upgraded to 1 diamond. But for mid-game players, this is really, really solid, because this is a free, like 50 times however many diamonds were in here, that many silver diamond credits. And if you did get a dupe, you got about 10 back, right? Which is fine, right? There's a lot, like over 100 of silver diamond credits you possibly could have got back as a dupe. Now, talking about the Red Skull, Red Super Skrull, Red Stars here, the 5, 6, the 7, and 1 diamond for free. Now, this does cost quite a bit, right? And I want to go. I want to start things off actually with the fact that back when this was announced, the Red Stars for Skrull was announced back in February of this year. I actually did videos talking about not talking about the Skrull Red Stars, but also why I didn't think it was a good idea. So this was on February 23rd of this year. Talked about the news, and then this video I put out called "Don't Do It: Say No to Super Skrull. Why this won't matter at all." This was a couple of days later. Actually, I may have recorded them both on the same day. That's why I can't. But anyways, it was like February 26th, I think, that I released this video. And a lot of people back then said I was absolutely crazy. Now, this was at a time where the prices were still really, really high. It was still the same price as it is now. The dark promo credits prices don't change. But Black Knight, I think, had come out at this point. And Black Knight in the arena meta really kicked I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, kicked the crap out of Super Skrull, right? Like, he really penalized all those extra turns that Super Skrull took, and it was a pretty easy win in the arena meta. And so the only real purpose, in my opinion, that Super Skrull had then was for PvP, like it normally does for these upgrades, because normally the Red Stars upgrades come at a point where they're sliding out of the meta, essentially. And so I don't think there was really good value, and it was just way overpriced, right? So I have a spreadsheet on all the dark promo characters and what they cost. And Super Skrull, right? Like, his 5-star is 5,000, 6,000, and 10,000. So I'll admit that I did actually pick up the 5 red on my main account. So this was fine, right? Like I understood this. But then it started to get really bad, especially when you look at the 7-star and the dark promotion credits that you get monthly free to play. I'm gonna be talking about this from a free to play perspective. Is pretty bad. Now, I know that people do buy the RTA pass for dark promotion credits, and that gives you more to play with. Like, So the only people that I would have recommended the 7-star back then for would be people who are actively buying the RTA pass like every time it goes around. Because otherwise, free to play is just blowing like 5 months worth of dark promotion credits essentially on this 7 red, which wasn't worth it. Because this came at a time as well. I said date available red stars. I think that was the diamonds. I think that was actually the diamonds for Super Skrull. So that was actually more recently. The red stars I didn't actually have I created new columns for this. I'm trying to keep track of the dates for everything, which is tough. But the 10,000 for the 7-star would be the equivalent of, say, for example, doing Green Goblin when he came out, and I don't have the dates on most of these at this point. But the 7 red for Green Goblin was 4,500, right? And this was still really good value to get him to 7 red, so you could start buying the diamonds and whatnot. These three are the diamond costs here, which are significantly lower than Super Scroll as well. And then we had Black Knight, right? Which was also 4,000 for the 7 red. So 4,000 plus the 4,500 from Green Goblin Classic, you could get 2 characters to 7 red for the price of Super Scroll. And that was my suggestion back then, was to do those 2 instead of Super Scroll. This is basically all me saying that, I mean, I guess I wouldn't expect people to watch a video from like back in February that I had suggested, but people have asked me here and there about dark promotion credits and their priorities. And I think honestly, I'm pretty sure I've done videos since then about that. And I've consistently said no, that Super Scroll is too expensive to get. So I do feel a little bit bad that people may have spent on that and, didn't get, quote unquote, got screwed out of that because they spent too much and they didn't get a lot of value time in the sun before they did this. But here's the other reason why I think they did this. If you've been following my videos about the player base decline, I think this could be a goodwill gesture, as you might say, as to the decline of the player base, which has been going down about 7 to 8,000 every single month for the last 3 months, at least since I started tracking that. And I'm very curious actually after this leaderboard finishes, but also in 2 weeks' time, especially once we lead up to the winter holidays, and what the player base looks like then. I do think that this is an attempt to bring people back. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Honestly, I don't. It's another the new player acquisition, if you will. I think that they're trying harder. They did try in the past as well to bring in a lot of new players into the game. And at the same time, though, this is kind of frustrating a lot of, especially I would say especially spenders probably who did buy into the RTA pass buyers who probably did buy into the 7 red Super Scroll. The diamond, I don't think is really that important because, yes, they're finite, the dark diamond credits, but I don't think there's really a lot to spend on because you have to get a character to 7 red first before you can buy diamonds. And the price is really bad at like 3 diamond, but even 1 diamond for Super Scroll at 2250, I don't think this is the deal. I don't think this is a big deal. I think a lot of people are just really upset over the 10,000 for the 7 red. And I think a lot of this comes down to because they never had a refund policy, right? There's never a refund on dark promotion credit characters. We had a four zombie juggernaut that was available for free. This is 4, I guess, here. That from the showcase, right? And so you would get 500, 600, like 3,500 dark promotion credits. Yeah, that's zombie juggernaut for free. Had you not purchased into him, right? And so they've done this a couple of times. They did with Zombie Iron Man. If you bought the RTA pass, they gave him a 4 red. Zombie Juggernaut was completely free to play for the 4 red, and then now we have Super Skrull. How many other characters are going to be like that? It's hard to say, right? Will Captain Britain have one later down the line? Maybe. I mean, I'm buying him into now because at least a 5 red because he doesn't have anything in the RTA pass, which is what I thought that they might have. I mean, silly me, I thought that they might actually provide some additional ways to get red stars on Captain Britain, but they did not. So I'm currently buying into Captain Britain because I have every other character currently at 7 red. I recently got Old Man Logan to 7 red. I actually got Zombie Juggernaut to 7 red ahead of, which is kind of stupid now that I think about it, because I don't actually have him at 7 yellow. Maybe they'll make him fireable soon. Who knows? So, I do think this is a positive thing, but it was taken as a little bit of a negative thing, and this is going to be a good thing for, players who haven't done it. There's a lot of people out there, I think, who are benefiting it more from people who are frustrated, I have to say. But I do understand your frustrations. I'm not sure what to suggest, like don't overbuy into things that are super expensive so that you don't have any regrets in the future. Super Scroll was a very expensive cost. Luckily, there's a Mephisto Red Star Orb if you care about things like that, and we'll see into the future, what kind of methods they have for these types of characters. But I would kind of like a buyer's beware cautionary tale, I suppose, at this point, based on Super Skrull. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is more red stars, but this time red stars regarding the Shadow King. We know that his trials are coming on Friday. If you haven't, check out my videos from this past week. I covered all of the stuff related to the Shadow King trial, some of the best characters for that, and what you should be paying attention to going into Friday. But I want to talk about also PS. If you didn't know about the upgrade token, you need to run milestone, D11 in order to get the 5 yellow star upgrade token. Each milestone is equivalent to a difficulty, if you will. So that's what you're gonna have to do if you want the 5 yellow Shadow King. I want to talk about the Astral Force because that has been data mined now. This was to talk about how to get red stars for Shadow King, and it appears, just from what I'm seeing anyways, that the red stars from Shadow King are going to be both in the leaderboard, possibly in the event milestone, but you could buy them with this Astral Force currency, which is going to be in the December event store. Okay? I think at the bottom it does talk about that a little bit more. The Shadow King Red Stars promotions will arrive in the Elite. This one's weird because it says will arrive soon in the Elite store, but then it's also available in the Astral Force December store as well. So is it both, or is this just, by soon do they mean like in a month? Like, I don't know what they meant by this, but otherwise you're mainly going to be getting it through this Astral Force. And I do want to talk about this because it was data mined here. So race to the Shadow King. Collect Astral Force. Collect Astral Force to upgrade Shadow King's red stars. Collect Astral Force from the Shadow King trials and the Snow Globe shop. So that's confirmation that there is going to be another event store for the month of December, which is going to be involving you buying snow globes. Most likely, it's going to be 600,000 gold for 600,000 gold for 10,000 snow globes, right? That's the kind of conversion that we've been getting for the candy and for the turkeys, and they're taking it again into December. This is surprising a little bit because if we know what's kind of in these shops normally, there's going to be some limited, maybe some awaken ability materials. In this case, there's going to be some Astral. You're going to buy some Astral Force, which you're going to then buy red stars for Shadow King. Who knows? Maybe there's an orb in there for something else, right? And you get points for this milestone, this race to the Shadow King milestone, by earning Astral Force, right? Which you're going to be buying in the Snow Globe shop. Okay, let's just be clear about that. And then you can also get the Astral Force in the Shadow King trials. And there's also going to be an offer as well, because this is the Shadow King passive ability. This hasn't been available for purchase for those of you who actually care about that. Will be available next week for just it looks like a flat buy, I think, according to what I'm seeing here. But we'll see about that. I don't buy any of the Shadow King passives. I have a huge deal about the Astral team, and also you may or may not have seen this post from yesterday talking about an Astral team buff. Now, this is very interesting because I don't know what they're going to do. It says we're still finalizing the details, so upcoming blog, maybe it'll be on Friday or tomorrow. But I think this is really important going forward because we have Null on Saturday. So are these reworks, are these buffs going to go in before we get to Null on Saturday, where you guys may have seen my other video and how important it is to get damage down on Null. It's going to be really, really important that you do that because in order to get to D5, you're going to need to basically do 6 Null kills. And that's super, super important. And if you're going from D3 to D4, you're going to need to get some damage in there as well. But going from D4 to D5, you essentially need to kill him 6 times, which means that Astral is really important. And it's been really disappointing to use Astral so far without Shadow King. But whether or not they get the buffs in for Saturday, I don't know. I mean, they could not. We'll have to see and how meaningful that is. I think the main reason behind this, honestly, is because that they've been outdone by bleed teams. And I know the full team isn't out yet. I'm assuming that the envoys have playtested the Astral team on D4, on D5, and Null, and they're not beating these bleed teams, which have been coming out. And that's probably not supposed to happen. Why buy into a new team if you're going to be outdone by something that you can do with an old set of characters? And I think that that's kind of what we're getting at now. So I really hope for the best for the Astral team. Maybe it's also because I do happen to I got super lucky and got a jackpot orb on Emma Frost, and then I cored for Ancient One. So I guess part of me is, who's going to have the full team on Friday, Saturday, that they're actually going to be decent. I have my suspicions pre buff, but hopefully that it doesn't take too long to get those buffs in. Speaking, I didn't really say what maybe that they could do about this, by the way. I really think that if they planned on giving some sort of refund to dark promotion credit upgrades, they would have done so already. And the fact that it's been around for years and they haven't done anything, part of me thinks that they're never going to do anything. But what I would like to see is maybe even a 20% refund if you have a dupe. Like, it doesn't have to be a crazy amount. And, because at some point it is, you can't tell when these things are going to happen. But a 20% refund on that would be like say, for example, the 7 red giving 2,000 DPCs, I think would be fair, I suppose, if you're getting it for free in some other way. The other thing too is actually the Skrull diamonds. I'm pretty sure had an event leaderboard, so I feel bad for anyone who spent money or pushed to get those diamonds on Skrull on those leaderboards to then get these things out for free. So I could see it both ways, but there's a lot of people that did benefit from it, and so I think it was a good thing as a whole. But I do understand the frustrations that some people had. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We do have Shadow King starting tomorrow, so some exciting days ahead. We'll see what happens. Also, there are going to be some videos related to the trials, of course, on this channel, so make sure you keep subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button and watch everything that I put out. Until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.